Hi everyone, I'm here today with the Principal of Excelling Key Subjects, Idris Musti, and we're just going to spend a few minutes talking about the things to look at, the things to watch out for when doing GCSE Maths tuition. Maths is one of the subjects that really everyone has to take at GCSE level. It's obviously very important. What are the thoughts that you think are key to bear in mind when a student is starting GCSE Maths revision?
As you said, maths is one of the most important subjects. We look at English and then we look at maths next. The employers look for it. There are so many reasons why maths is important. Now, again, when somebody is looking for a teacher, it's very important to make sure that they're looking for somebody who is very qualified and enthusiastic about their subject. One thing about maths GCSE is that, yes, year 10, which is the age of 14, is the official starting age for maths, or for GCSE as a whole. But the reality is that most schools now follow what is called a modular structure. They do modules in maths. And actually, in quite a few schools, they enter students for GCSE modules in year 9, which is a year early. So it is very important that you seek help as early as possible. The thing with maths is that the concept of foundation and higher tier is very important. If you are to sit the foundation tier, the maximum grade you can obtain in that tier is a C grade. Now, we have many students who they are bright, but because they are not well taught, or they are distracted in the class because they are being taught in a large group, they end up doing the foundation tier, which is actually a shame, because for maths in particular, in order to get the high grades, it is much easier to get it with the higher tier, especially if a student is bright. The reason is because, for example, you need something like 75 or 80% in some cases to get a C grade if you do the foundation. Whereas if you do the higher tier, sometimes about 40% is sufficient to get the C grade. And moreover, if one is entered for the higher tier, that person should really be looking at a minimum of a B grade, really. So it is crucial to see how things are going early so that you can get your child, if it is a parent trying to get their children into the for maths tuition, it's important to seek the help early.
Sure.
So that they end up being put in the correct tier.
Sure. And how important is being placed in the right tier? That's really being placed in the right set, from what you're saying.
Yes. Again, in terms of being placed in the right set, if you are in the bottom set or the lower set, to be cruel about it, the material that the teachers are actually covering with those tier are usually very elementary. They don't equip you to sit the higher tier, and it follows a lot follows from it. Because if you are in the foundation tier, say at the beginning of your GCSE studies, it's very difficult to move up, because what the school will say is that you've missed out a lot of the higher tier material that's been covered with the higher group. So that is why it's important to try and make sure you're in the right set right from the beginning. So I can't really emphasize this well enough for parents that you ought to try to seek the help, possibly at the beginning of year 9, which is the age of 13 or so, or earlier, particularly for mathematics.
Okay. Do you think there are any other points that are worth mentioning regarding maths tuition at all?
Again, maths is a very important subject, and employers do look at it very well. If you're going to get help, as I mentioned, try to get help early. Make sure you get it from a fully qualified teacher, and practice is extremely important. Getting help in maths is it's something you have to be very careful with. It's very important that the students don't get into the idea of just solving the problem with the teacher. They do need to actually leave the teaching environment, have a go at the questions on themselves, and practice. the improvement will not happen unless the students actually practice questions in addition to the help they get from the teacher.
So practice makes perfect.
Indeed. For maths, there are 3 tricks: practice, practice, and practice.
Excellent.
Indeed.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.